Liverpool receives a major boost in Alexander Isak transfer after £42.5 million deal agreed. Liverpool could soon complete the signing of Mark Guehi following the end of financial incentives. Hello, Reds fans! Let's dive into the latest updates from the greatest club in the world. Liverpool's pursuit of Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak could gain significant momentum in the coming days, potentially triggering a chain reaction in the Premier League transfer market. The Reds are in search of attacking reinforcements following the departures of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, as well as the tragic passing of Diogo Jota last month. Newcastle's number 14 has been identified as the main target, but the first bid, a fixed fee of £110 million, was categorically rejected by Newcastle earlier in August. Initially, the St. James Park club insisted that Isak would not be sold this summer, as the Swedish forward still has 3 years left on his contract. However, the situation began to shift after the striker missed the Far East preseason tour due to a muscle injury. In the Northeast, reports emerged suggesting the player could be allowed to leave if Newcastle secured adequate replacements. So far, however, Eddie Howe's attempts to sign a new striker have failed. Players such as Liam Delap, João Pedro, Hugo Ekitike, and Benjamin Sesko have all turned down moves to the club. As a result, Newcastle turned their attention to Yoane Wissa from Brentford. The London club, however, was unwilling to negotiate until they had found a replacement. That obstacle now appears to have been removed. Brentford have agreed a club record deal worth around £42.5 million with Bournemouth for Dango Ouattara. If Ouattara's move to the G-Tech Stadium is completed in the coming days, Wissa would then be free to join Newcastle. This would pave the way for Isak to seal his desired move to Liverpool before the transfer window closes on September 1. Earlier in the window, the signing seemed unlikely, with Newcastle making it clear the Swede was not for sale. However, following Liverpool's initial approach, Isak informed the club that he wants to leave and move to Anfield. Liverpool have already tabled a £110 million bid, which was swiftly rejected, and are now waiting for the right moment to make a fresh move. The club hopes that, with replacements lined up, Newcastle will be more willing to negotiate a fair price. Journalist Nicola Shearer has claimed that Liverpool have already agreed personal terms with Isak and are prepared to submit a new offer. Writing on X, Shearer said, "Alexander Isak has not changed his plans. He wants to leave Newcastle and has asked to be sold. Alexander Isak has already agreed personal terms with Liverpool and is pushing for the transfer. Newcastle, however, will only negotiate for amounts above £120 million. According to Mick Brown, if Liverpool increase their offer, the chances of a deal will grow, especially as the player is strongly determined to join Anfield."
Liverpool continued to closely monitor the situation of Crystal Palace defender Mark Guehi as part of their plan to strengthen their backline during this transfer window. The interest in the England international remains strong, even with negotiations for Parma's young prospect Giovanni Leone already at an advanced stage. Leone, just 17 years old, arrived in England last Thursday to undergo a medical after Liverpool reached an agreement with the Serie A club. However, his arrival does not end the search for defensive reinforcements. The departure of Jurel Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen and the uncertainty over Ibrahima Konate contract renewal have kept the Reds' management alert, fully aware that squad depth will be crucial for the long season ahead. According to information from Mark Bruss of Caught Offside, Crystal Palace have set Guehi's price tag at between £45 million and £50 million, higher than Liverpool's valuation of £35 million to £40 million. The Eagles' stance is understandable. Guehi is a starting defender for the England national team and a key figure in Oliver Glasner's defense. However, there is one factor that could weaken Palace's position. Guehi's contract expires next summer. This means that if he is not sold now, the club risks losing him for free, a situation that becomes even more relevant given the team's recent sporting setbacks. Palace are going through a delicate moment. A negative ruling from the Court of Arbitration for Sport has effectively ended their hopes of competing in the Europa League this season, while also reducing their chances of securing a Champions League spot in 2026-27. The scenario lowers the sporting incentive to keep Guehi, especially as finding a replacement of equal quality in the market will not be easy for Glasner. If an appeal does not change the current situation, financial considerations are likely to weigh heavily on the board's decision. For Chairman Steve Parish, selling Guehi now could be the most rational option, ensuring a significant return before the player is free to negotiate with other clubs. Thus, while Leone moves closer to being announced as a new signing, Liverpool keep their sights firmly on Guehi, ready to move quickly should Crystal Palace open the door to more flexible negotiations. The coming week could be decisive in determining the England defender's future and in shaping Liverpool's defensive plans. Thank you very much for following along. See you next time.